In the video today, we're looking at the Articles of Confederation, the Constitution before the Constitution.
It is the spring of 1787. The Revolutionary War has been over for only 6 years, and the young United States is still struggling in its infancy. Uprisings, boundary disputes, and the lack of a common vision all plagued the newborn country.
The United States Constitution created a republic that has lasted for well over 200 years, but it was not the first national government of the United States of America. That distinction goes to the short-lived Articles of Confederation, without which the Constitution as it exists today might never have been formed.
The government they created was purposely weak in favor of state and individual rights. Fears of creating another king led these delegates to give the federal government the power to declare war, conduct international trade, and not much else. To even pass a law required a supermajority of states to approve.
Under the Articles of Confederation, the national government consisted of only a one-house, unicameral legislative branch. There were no executive, president, or judicial Supreme Court branches. Delegates to Congress were appointed by state legislatures, not voted upon by the public. Each state had only one vote, appeasing smaller states who feared that bigger states would hold more power in the newly formed country. Most significantly, though, any power that was not specifically granted in the Articles of Congress was left to the individual states.
But how does this United States of America wield its power? Where does its money come from? It turns out that if it needs to generate revenue in order to take some action, it can't tax the citizens of the states. The states can only do that themselves. Instead, it has to apply to the states in order to contribute to the United States of America. If you wanted to take some type of unified action, well, you would have to have delegates from the various states and meet together and decide what to do. You wouldn't have any strong leader being able to take decisive action. And so there really wasn't a notion of a central government here.
The Articles of Confederation caused the national government to go downhill fast. Sure, there were some strengths, such as the Land Ordinance and Northwest Ordinance, which allowed for new states to join the country, or the ability to make treaties with other countries. But the feds were too weak and had almost no power over the states. Thus, the states were basically independent, and in Massachusetts, the taxes were too high for the low income. Many had to sell their land, animals, and homes, and eventually, the prisons were overflowing. Daniel Shea was outraged that he and the other war veterans weren't getting the money they were been promised for their service. So he gathered some followers and convinced them to rebel with him. In 1786, the rebels, known as Shaysites, shut down courts all over Massachusetts, preventing them from putting more innocent farmers in prison. The national government was very concerned. They knew they had to protect Massachusetts, but they didn't have the power to raise an army. All they could do was ask the other states for troops to fight the Shaysites.
Eventually, on January 25th, 1787, we see things coming to a head where Daniel Shays is leading his rebels to take the armory in Springfield, Massachusetts, which is in western Massachusetts, but it's stopped by a militia. This is a militia that's paid for by merchants in the area who probably want their debts paid or just wanted functioning courthouses or did not want all of these rioting farmers and former veterans. And so this rebellion is put down, but it shows the weakness inherent in the Articles of Confederation.
In May 1787, the Philadelphia Convention gathered for the sole and express purpose of revising the Articles of Confederation. By 1790, with the help of James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Thomas Jefferson, and others of the original framers, every one of the 13 states had signed off and ratified the United States' Constitution, replacing the Articles of Confederation as the governing document in the United States. The framers of the Constitution had learned lessons both good and bad from the Articles of Confederation. The need for a centralized and empowered national government, taxing as a source of income for the country, a checks and balances system, and the ability to create a document that could be amendable and changed as time necessitated it. For all of its flaws, the Articles of Confederation gave the framers of the Constitution a blueprint to get it right the next time.